Welcome back to WD Magiccast for the week of September 15th, 2024. This is episode 270. WD Magiccast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Graken. In this week's show, we have a special guest, Megan Clair Murphy, straight from screen, stage, and YouTube, to talk to us about her very fascinating and very interesting career and a show that she has created on her own for YouTube for everyone, basically. So sit back and enjoy the show. Make sure you join the conversation on our social media, where we're found pretty much everywhere at WD Magiccast. Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, TikTok. We are out there. Threads, even. Find us at WD Magiccast. Join the conversation. Also, make sure to check out our TeePublic shop, where you get some really cool WD Magiccast stuff, get some stuff for yourself, and help out your favorite podcast as well. And on that bombshell, on with the show. I love doing podcasts. I love doing podcasts because I never know what I'm going to talk about sometimes or who I'm going to talk to. I have talked to people from all different parts of the entertainment industry. And today I get to have another person from the entertainment industry who is an actress who's been on big TVs, little TVs, and she has created her own YouTube channel that is quite fun to watch. And I have a lot of questions for her, and I'm just going to stop beating around the bush and introduce her now. Megan, welcome, Megan Clair Murphy, from, like I said, stage, screen, pretty much all ends of entertainment.
Hey, Matthew, thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm glad we were able to figure this out and get this going.
Yeah, me too.
So a little birdie told me that you were a part of one of the biggest movies in movie history. You had a part in Avengers Infinity War. Where you were in the New York scene, I believe it was, you were telling me. What was that like?
That was a fun day on set. It was the first time I had ever worked on a Marvel movie before, and the only time, just for the record. But it was the scene at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, where there's Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and the Hulk, and they're fighting the aliens. And I think I remember we were in Washington Square Park, but I was just a background extra, so my job was to pretend like I was running away from the aliens and all the destruction that was supposed to be happening in the scene. And the actors who played Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and the Hulk were actually not there on set that day. It was all CGI, so like Doctor Strange was like a tennis ball with a cape on it, with a big crane attached to a pickup truck, attached to like the back of a pickup truck.
Wow.
And and they would drive the pickup truck around with this big long crane on the end of it, coming out of the back of it. And that was supposed to be Doctor Strange, like flying around in the air, fighting the aliens. And so they would like drive the truck with the camera on it towards us. And we were supposed to be like running away from what was happening in the scene. So it was pretty fun, but I was a little disappointed that the actual actors weren't there in real life. But it was still a very fun day on set.
Yeah, it's upsetting that they weren't there, but like to actually see how that scene is made and what goes into it because with the final product, you just see them kind of walking around and doing their thing and fighting the Maw and everybody, and see things blowing up and cars crashing and all that. So for us on seeing the final product, it's hard for us to imagine when that's being filmed and when that's being made, what actually is there, and better yet, what isn't. And so you actually were in New York filming that.
Yeah, I lived in New York City for 6 years from 2012 to 2018, and I worked as a background extra on lots of TV shows and movies that filmed in New York for several years during that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked on shows. Well, it's not Disney, but I worked on,
It's okay.
real quick, I worked on shows like Law and Order, Boardwalk Empire,
Oh,
The
nice.
Good Wife, Blue Bloods, Billions with Paul Giamatti, and I was a regular extra on a show called Blind Spot. I played a FBI agent in that one. So I got to work on that one several times a week, several days a week for a few months for this, like season 2 and season 3.
I'm just writing that down so I can check those out.
And then one day I finally got cast to work as a background extra on my first Marvel movie, Avengers Infinity War.
So all from the TV literally to the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
That is fantastic. What
was disappointing was when I watched the actual movie when it came out and I watched it in theaters, I didn't see myself on the screen, so they must have cut the shot out where it showed me. But I swear I worked on it. I remember that day vividly. They must have just cut that little part out that I was in.
Oh, that's a shame. Maybe it's in one of the special features.
Maybe. I haven't watched those yet, but it's possible.
I'll have to double check it. But that still, you were part of literally movie history. Like I said, one of the biggest movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You were a part of it.
I know. How cool is that?
I can't say something like as amazing as that. That is something that is crazy. That is wonderful.
Sometimes I've worked on so many things that sometimes I take it for granted, and then somebody like you says something like, you worked on one of the biggest movies ever, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And like I said, you got to see how in the Marvel movies, it's no secret that they are big special effects movies. There's a lot of stuff that's put in post-production after they film it, and then the computers go in and the animators put in their stuff. So you got to see the raw, the original clay, as it were, that they
which is not as
sculpt.
glamorous as you would think it would be. It's just a bunch of regular looking guys.
Yep, in green little suits
driving these trucks around.
How long did it take for you to film that scene?
Just a day, like maybe 8 hours.
Okay. But 8 hours for something that, is not a huge amount of time in the final end of the movie. But, my point being, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, they were just filming like what they call the B-roll footage.
Uh-huh.
The principal footage wasn't filming on that location where I was that day. They were just filming the extras running away. That's all that we did all day.
So a lot of running. You got your steps in that day, I'm sure.
I did.
That's excellent. So I also hear that you are not only were you in a fantastic Marvel movie and in many really cool TV shows that were filmed in New York. You're a big Disney fan.
Yeah, I am. I grew up on Disney movies, and I grew up watching a lot of Disney movies, and Some of the ones that I remember watching at the earliest was The Sword in the Stone, Robin Hood, The Rescuers Down Under, Peter Pan. And then there was Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast.
All fantastic movies.
My favorite one that I used to watch way back then was probably The Sword in the Stone. One of the more older, more obscure ones, I would say.
I like that one. That's a good one. I really appreciate, someone who can go back and say that I like this movie, it being the source of one of the older movies, and not necessarily, like you said, one of the super popular ones. It's not Cinderella, Little Mermaid, but another really good movie from the 60s. Someone's going to yell at me for not if I don't get the.
I'm not sure
the exact timing on that right, but it's but I like that one. And got Merlin and Newt, who would end up becoming King Arthur, and the whole story. And they even have the little part in the parks where you can pull the sword out and be king for the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Right behind the castle in Fantasyland, right actually in front of the carousel, there is a sword there, and they have a little ceremony, and people come and try and pull it out, and not coming out, and then for someone it does budge, and they become king for the day.
I don't think I went to that part of the park when I went to Disney World.
It's easy to miss. It's just a small little stone. It's right by right in front of the carousel in Fantasyland. But with everything going on, most people probably walk past it and not even realize it's there.
Well, now I know, and now I'll look for it next time I go.
Yeah. You like going to the parks?
I've only been to Disney World once in my life. It's when I was 13 years old, and that was the first and only time I've ever been there so far.
Okay.
We're planning to go in a couple of years and take my nephew and my family there to Disney World, and within the next couple of years, while my nephew is still young, But I went with my school honor society group in like the 7th or 8th grade, and my parents didn't go. There were chaperones that went with us, but my parents didn't go with us.
Okay.
So it was just me and a bunch of my friends from school going around the park. I think we probably had to have a chaperone with our little group, with each little group. But I don't remember if there was a chaperone or not.
It's been 1 or 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably just taking in everything else around that park.
But I do remember riding Space Mountain like 10 times in a row.
Oh, wow. Was that one of your favorite rides?
Yeah.
That's a good ride. My oldest son is terrified by that.
Oh.
He is absolutely terrified. He will kill me for mentioning this on the podcast, but he's absolutely terrified of Space Mountain. My youngest son loves it.
I used to be scared of roller coasters too, but I wasn't scared of Space Mountain, I guess because it doesn't go upside down, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I thought it was fun because I didn't have to go upside down. I still don't like riding roller coasters to this day that go upside down, but I like riding the Cyclone at Coney Island in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That's one
that's
of
a classic.
The old wooden roller coasters.
Yes.
I don't mind that one.
That is a good one. We used to have, I'm not too far from Six Flags Great Adventure here in New Jersey. And they used to have a wooden roller coaster similar to that. A few years ago, unfortunately, they did take it down to put in more modern, bigger, flashier rides. But yeah, no, there's something about those old wooden roller coasters that's a lot of fun. They're not the
And
fastest, they're not the smoothest. They don't do crazy upside downs and what twists and whatnot. But I feel that's a lot of I find those a lot of fun as well.
Mhm. And one of the rides that I didn't get to ride the time I went to Disney World was, what's it called? It's the Rockin' Railroad something roller coaster.
Rock and roll, rock and roller
It's the
coaster starring
train.
Aerosmith.
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't get to ride that one
ah,
because it was raining that day or something. They shut it down for the day. I don't know why. Can't
um,
remember why.
unfortunately, that one does have a lot of downtime. A lot of points that it's not working. Because of the technology and stuff, it just sometimes needs a lot of work
Hmm.
to be repaired. That one has some twists in it, so I don't know if you like that one as much.
Oh, no, I mean I haven't been there since 1998, so I don't know what's there now, but in 1998 it was the old wooden, it was like a train. The roller coaster
Oh,
was like a train, and it was something railroad
Big
something.
Thunder, Big Thunder
Yes,
Railroad.
that one.
Yes,
That's the one
yes.
I didn't get to ride.
Oh, that's a shame. That one doesn't go upside down, so you would have liked that one too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that leaves you something to do next time.
I guess so.
That one also is a lot of fun. That's a classic ride. My one of my friends, Jim Hill, on his podcast, was just talking about the history of how they made that and how that ride came about. So it's got an interesting history. But yeah, no, it's that is a another fun attraction, and I promise you, you'll probably enjoy it. If you like
Mhm.
Space Mountain, you'll probably like this one too. A lot of funny gags, no twists, no, you know, uh, you don't go upside down at any point, and it's a nice, fun family coaster. And I would be interested in hearing what you think of it whenever you do finally get to go on it.
Mhm. We're seriously planning on tentatively planning on going maybe next year or the year after that. My nephew is 7 years old right
Okay.
now, so while he's still young-ish, we want to
Yeah.
go.
Sure, sure.
I don't
There's
have any kids of my own, so and my brother only has one child, so that kid is like my nephew is like my only child right now.
hey,
He's basically like my child too.
having that family dynamic in whatever way that is key, and I'm sure he likes how much his auntie gets to be part of his family.
Hmm.
And you get to experience things together. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. I do understand that it took a while before I had my first kid, and then that's a whole nother story for another time, and how that happened. But yeah, I've been in similar situations, and I do get that. I'm living through my nieces and nephew, so they're you know I know what you're I know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Um, so besides that, um, what is one of your favorite Disney songs?
I was just singing it. I was just listening to the video and singing it today. It's from the new Disney movie Wish.
Oh, okay.
That song, it's the one where they go, "Do you ever wonder why you look up at the sky for answers?" And then it's "You're a star." Da, 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 da. If
Yes.
you wanna know just who you are, you're a star. It's talking about how we're all made of stardust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. I went to see it um, when it was in theaters last year.
That was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it, and I really like the music from it. So
Hmm.
that's um that's a good choice. That is an absolutely good choice.
But one of my favorite ever Disney songs is, of course, Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Classic.
That's the one that I grew up singing and listening to.
That is another fantastic song, classic one. Jodie Benson does such a fantastic job with it. It's so simple at first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the little piano melody and just her singing along, and it, turns into this great big finish at the end. Something just so small, and just the musical positions that Alan Menken wrote into that, and Howard Ashman about, like I said, musically, it's such a beautifully written song. And just at the end, you just get this great big finish. And then the way they animated with the waves crashing over her while she's on the rock. Oh, gives me goosebumps even just thinking about it.
I actually sang that song on my YouTube channel a couple months ago. So if you scroll down on my videos, you can find where I sang Part of Your World.
And what is that YouTube channel's name? How can people find you on that? And I'm going to ask you about all your social medias in a bit. But
the name of my YouTube channel, it's my name, Megan Clair Murphy, and the number 2. That's Megan Clair Murphy 2. And I have my own kids show on there, which is called the Aunt Nae Nae Show. It's on a separate playlist on my YouTube channel called the Aunt Nae Nae Show. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other videos, shorts especially, on my YouTube channel that are not technically part of the Aunt Nae Nae Show, but they're still, most of them I think are safe for kids to watch. There might be maybe one that has one bad word in it, and that's my acting reel that I did a couple years ago. Okay. It's the I think it's the very first video on there.
I was scrolling through and I saw a lot of ones of you singing and then talking about different things. So a lot of nice videos, shorts to watch on there. And then there's also the Aunt Nae Nae Show.
The Aunt Nae Nae Show is a kid show. Mm-hmm. So there's about I think we've got somewhere between 40 and 50 episodes of the Aunt Nae Nae Show on there right now. I lost count. I haven't been keeping up with it. But we do one every week. Every Saturday morning, I upload a new episode of Aunt Nae Nae. So it's once a week every Saturday.
That must keep you busy.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
It's not a bad way to spend your time.
No. So where did this idea of the Aunt Nae Nae Show come from? And may I also ask, since, again, this being a Disney podcast and your love of Disney, did Disney influence you in any sorts of way coming up with this show?
Oh, yeah. I knew that if I was going to have my own show, that it had to be a kid's show. Because I had a lot of experience working with kids in the past as a summer camp counselor. And I love Disney movies and kids movies. And I just love kids, like not in a creepy way, but you know what I mean.
No, I work in a high school. I completely understand it.
To make kids happy and to entertain and hopefully educate the kids a little bit in the process. I wanted the Aunt Nae Nae Show to be something wholesome as opposed to a lot of the entertainment on TV these days, which a lot of it is like empty, mindless entertainment. Not Disney, though. Disney is great.
Well, but a lot of them,
you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. And a lot of them are... And my boys, unfortunately, have fallen subject to this as well. It's like either you're watching other people play with toys instead of playing with them yourself, or you're watching other people play video games.
Yeah.
Or it's just simply an advertisement for a product.
Yeah.
And your show isn't any of those.
Nope. I want. Okay. So the inspiration for the Aunt Nae Nae Show, it was inspired by my 7-year-old nephew who calls me Aunt Nae Nae
Okay.
because when he was a baby, he couldn't say Megan, so he called me Aunt Nae Nae, and the name just stuck. And he lives in a different state than I do,
Sure.
so we talk on FaceTime a lot. And I started playing this game over FaceTime. I called it the Aunt Nae Nae Show game. And one day I just went, it's the Aunt Nae Nae Show. Hey! And I started like saying silly stuff and doing funny things just to entertain my nephew on FaceTime.
Uh-huh.
And so then another week goes by and we call each other on FaceTime again. He's like, Aunt Nae Nae, do the Aunt Nae Nae Show game again. And so we kept doing that for several weeks. And then after several weeks, I said, hey, maybe I could actually turn this into a real show. And hey, I know all these songs that I used to sing at Girl Scout camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so why don't I just sing one of those songs and make a video of it and put it on YouTube and see what happens? And so I did that. And it got a modest amount of views at first. But I thought, well, this is fun. And I don't have anything else to do, so I'll just keep doing it. I was doing it just for fun at first.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, one of my videos got 54,000 views.
Wow.
All of a sudden. And so then I thought, hey, maybe this show could really be something one day. And so I met these guys. I started working with 2 guys who are my producers now.
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me. They're both great, but they're going to help me make the show even bigger and better from now on.
Okay.
Like, we're bringing on special guest stars, like just like you're interviewing me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I'm going to be interviewing other guests on my show.
Okay. Because I've seen that you've had some guests on your show already.
Yeah, we've posted a couple of them already. And actually, this week we're going to have a guest star who's going to help me sing a song. We're singing a duet together. And it's another one of my Girl Scout campfire songs.
Uh-huh.
It's called On My Honor. And it's just a song about togetherness and being good to your fellow humans and how to treat people kindly with kindness and stuff like that.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
And that's the one coming out this weekend. This Saturday.
Saturday, yes. Saturday, September 21st.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yes. I lose track of the days in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds like a lot of fun. And I was actually going to say, ask you where that catchy theme song came from. So that was just something just you came up one day talking to your nephew on, over the FaceTime, and just, this little ditty just got into your head. And next thing you know, it's just like.
I think, although I didn't intend for it to copy The Simpsons, but it actually came from The Simpsons when they're like, it's the Itchy and Scratchy Show.
Oh. And that's Disney too now. Yeah. Okay. I didn't make that connection.
I think I accidentally copied that without meaning to.
No, it's not exactly the same. Yeah, I don't think, there's any copyrights being broken there. So.
I think somewhere in my subconscious, that's where it came from.
Right. But and not to be confused with Itchy and Scratchy, this is completely family friendly, and this is something that you want your kids watching.
It's for kids 8 years old and younger.
Okay.
So Mhm.
Um, and they're not like super super long. It's not like an hour long show. You try and keep them to a shorter.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a short. What it is a short form kids variety show.
Mhm.
We try to keep the episodes 1 to 5 minutes each in length. Um, we have songs, stories, jokes, educational content, and more. Some of the more is that I go to different destinations and go exploring different places. Like we had one episode that was Aunt Nae Nae Goes to the Beach, and we had Aunt Nae Nae Goes to New York City because I actually went there on vacation last year, and one of my producers helped me film an episode while I was there
Oh,
because they
nice.
both live in New York right
Oh,
now.
okay. So that's really cool. Yeah, I see. I just did something similar. We were on vacation on a cruise ship, so I did some stuff on the ship, some live package stuff, and also on their private island. So I did some live feeds from there. And my co-host Dave and I did a follow up episode to that follow up episode when we got back about the trip. So that is I've done similar things. That is actually really cool, and the fact that you got to film it in New York.
Yeah.
So you really get to bring people to these different places
Mhm.
and and show the kids and their families some of these things. I mean, you got kids in some of these states that they've heard of New York, but never really get to see what New York is like. And here
Yeah.
you are helping educate and bring more, broaden their culture
Mhm.
of you know of beaches and uh different cities and different things and aspects. And you had I think another one about travel on there.
Um, yeah, I know what you're. It. I think I went. It was like New York City Part One, and then it goes to New York Part Two,
mm, hmm
and then we had and then it goes to Central Park.
Oh, very nice. You know what? To be honest, all the times I've been to New York and living not too far from it, never actually gone into Central Park.
Um,
So,
it's
um,
nice during the day.
yes, folks.
You don't want to go there at night.
Oh yeah, it's a very different park.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, but that's really cool. That is cool. You get to bring this type of stuff to kids, and that it's a short form. I think is actually pretty cool because one, kids' attention spans aren't as long as they used to be. Um, and it's just something they could quickly watch and enjoy, and they can watch it in the volume that they want and need. So that, if it's just something that they just have a couple minutes, they can do one
Yeah.
episode. If they have a longer period of time, they can do three, four, more
Mhm.
episodes. So that I like the way that you're going at this.
Somebody told me that I should make it like you remember those what was it called? Schoolhouse Rock, like Conjunction Junction last
Yes.
year. I
Yes.
should make it like those little shorts were.
Okay. That's an
That
interesting
like
idea.
they could show it like on TV in between the commercials.
hmm I was gonna say, I know you Playhouse Disney, Disney Junior,
Like you know how Nickelodeon used to have a lot of
well,
little
even
shorts during the like
yeah,
Nickelodeon. And Disney Channel did too.
that's what I was gonna just say. Disney Channel used to do that, where they would have shorts run between
The
uh
shows.
different shows, right? And they had the Muppet Babies. They did stuff like that. The Muppets themselves, they Muppet
Mhm.
Moments, they would do something like that. Johnny and the Sprites, which was one of my favorite Disney Channel shows, started off as shorts that ran between the full episode, full shows, and eventually became a show that ran for 2 seasons on the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
So, in that show, speaking of which, that show was filmed in New York itself. So though that is a brilliant idea, and I mean, you never know where this is going to take you.
Well,
Go ahead.
the big lifetime dream for the Aunt Nae Nae Show is to have a hit show on a network like PBS, like the Mr. Rogers Show, or even Sesame Street,
Mm-hmm.
or all those shows I used to watch on PBS: Reading Rainbow, Lamb Chops, Playhouse, Under the Umbrella Tree. Those are shows that I watched on PBS growing up, and I just think that for the type of show that I aspire for the Aunt Nae Nae Show to be, PBS would be the perfect place for it.
There's so many options now. PBS, Amazon Prime for kids,
Oh yeah.
Disney Plus. I mean, there is so many avenues that kids have access to. YouTube itself, YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
So
I haven't figured out how to get on the YouTube Kids app yet. But I think there isn't there like some kind of vetting process that you have to go through.
I
something?
believe so. And that's not something I've ever actually looked into myself. But I'm sure I can figure that out.
But several parents have asked me about that.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I don't think.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there. Hey, if Blippi could do it, you could do it.
Yeah, the 5-year plan is to be like Blippi.
You know what?
Lifetime dream is to be like Mr. Rogers.
Between you and me, Megan, I like you better than Blippi.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I mean, as far as how popular he is.
I understand that. I get that. You know what? The sky's the limit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
right now I'm just trying to get my YouTube channel monetized. I haven't reached enough views yet to get it monetized. You have to have 500 subscribers.
Yes.
And I reached that requirement because I have, last time I checked, 555 now. But
Beautiful.
You have to have like 3 million views, like total views for your whole channel. And I don't have nearly enough yet.
Okay. Well,
so it'll probably be a couple of years.
Everything in stride.
Maybe a year.
Everything in stride. You keep putting out content, and the more you keep putting out, the more people will discover you, and they go back. Like, someone may not start watching you till the 60th episode, and then they go back and watch the other ones. Mm-hmm. So you'll get there. And
I believe I will too.
Oh, I know you.
You're in the universe.
It's we need more shows like that.
Well, thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. Now, can I ask you a few personal questions?
You can ask. I can't promise I'll be able to answer.
All right. Well, just some questions, just so people can get to know Megan a little better.
Okay.
Favorite song to sing?
Favorite song to sing?
Yes.
Oh gosh. I've sang a lot of songs in my life. Probably
It doesn't have to be just one.
I'll just mention one recently.
Okay.
It's the song "This Wish" from the movie Wish.
Yes.
It's and so I make this wish to have something more for us than this. That wasn't how I can really sing it, but I was just, my voice isn't up to par right now.
Well, you didn't warm up your voice beforehand. You weren't
I
expecting
can
to be
sing
singing
it
on.
quietly.
Yeah. No, that's.
But I'm also, of course, part of your world. And I love to sing that part in that Beauty and the Beast song. Little town, it's a quiet village every day, like the one before. You know that part?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Little town full of little people waking up to say. Then it goes, bonjour, bonjour.
Bonjour. Yes.
And also Coal Miner's Daughter by Loretta Lynn.
Okay.
I'm proud to be a coal miner's daughter. It's a little country since I'm from Alabama.
You guys like country in Alabama? I would never guessed.
Oh, well, I'm not personally the biggest country music fan. I like the old school stuff rather than the modern country music.
Okay.
Like Loretta Lynn, Johnny Cash, what was his name? Hank Williams.
Oh, yes.
I like the old stuff.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. True country. What would be your dream role? If your agent came up to you and said, "Hey, this show offered you this role," what would it be?
I think I've already played one of my dream roles. I played Maria in The Sound of Music.
Really?
Like 10 years ago.
Did they figure out how to solve a problem like Maria?
Yeah. Also, I want to play the bearded lady in The Greatest Showman.
Oh.
Because I heard they're bringing that as a musical to Broadway.
Yes, just this past D23, so in August, they announced that there is a theatrical treatment in the works for Greatest Showman, which I've been saying for years that they need, ever since I saw the movie, like this show needs to come to Broadway.
Me too. And that's what I thought when I saw it.
It is such a heartwarming, just wonderful film. And I think it would translate beautifully from screen to stage. And the music is just absolutely phenomenal.
That's one of my favorite movies to watch nowadays.
That's a good one. Yeah, I only watched it for the first time last year. Was it only last year? It must have been only last year. I think I finally sat down and watched it. I got the DVD and Blu-ray as soon as it came out. And I didn't, long as I meant to get around to it. I meant to get around to it and never did. But I listened to some of the music and I like the music. I'm like, I love Hugh Jackman. I'm like, okay, I gotta actually sit down and watch this one day. And I did, and I just sat there the whole time, just my eyes just wide open and just taking in this story and the film and the music and the dancing and everything. And after that, I next day saw my dad. I'm like, you need to watch this movie. So you'll need to watch this movie. Like, all right. So and then they watched it and they loved it too. And anyone I've run into who hasn't seen it, I'm like, I know the song, I know this and that. I'm like, yeah, you need to watch the whole movie because it's just so well done. It's just really enjoyable. I mean, I know it's not historically completely accurate, but it's a movie. It's there for entertainment.
Yeah.
Hamilton's not 100% accurate either, but people love it. I I think you would,
Or just, I don't think I have like the right look to play the bearded lady, but maybe I could play like at the age and the amount of dancing skills that I have or don't have. I could play P.T. Barnum's wife, the Michelle Williams character.
Yeah. Okay. Hey,
I'm 39.
You go for the audition and you see what happens, right?
Yeah. Or maybe they could, I don't know, maybe I could play one of the circus performers if, I just don't think, I don't know.
You never know. Shoot for the stars, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe I could be a clown. I think if I was going to run away and join the circus, I'd be a clown.
Huh. All right. What kind of clown? Would you type with the makeup or the type without the makeup and still doing all the funny stuff?
With the makeup, just doing all the funny stuff.
Okay. Nice. I guess would that be your dream show as well? If you were any yes. show, if again, your agent comes up to you, okay, booked you this show, either stage, movie, TV, you name it. If you had one show that you could be a part of,
let me think.
What would it be?
Maybe Mary Poppins. As Mary Poppins.
Nice.
Or, I can't think of one right now.
Okay. Mary Poppins is a standing answer. Now, would you want to do a movie or would you want to do the Broadway production?
I think a stage production.
The stage
Hopefully
production?
on Broadway, but if not, that's okay.
Maybe you could be on West End.
Maybe. Or just, my own hometown theater.
Sure. Absolutely. That is fantastic. Again, I thank you for coming on. Thank you for explaining to us your amazing career and telling us about this really cool project that you're working on, the Aunt Nae Nae Show, now available on YouTube, so people can definitely check you out. You told us your YouTube channel to look up, which is Megan Clair Murphy 2, and I'll put these in the show notes. How else? What other social medias where people can follow you?
I'm not on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that right now. I'm just on Facebook.
Okay.
Under the name Megan Clair Murphy. You can message me on there because I check my message request periodically if anybody wants to contact me.
Excellent. Okay. So I will put those in the show notes so people can find you easily. And anything else that you'd like to mention or talk about?
I'll just say the thing that I say at the end of each Aunt Nae Nae episode, which is, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, kids, you are kind, you are smart, you are important. Have a great day. Bye.
And I can't think of a better way to end the show. Megan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Have a good night.
You too. Thank you again to Megan Clair Murphy for coming on the show. Fantastic interview. Such a lovely person. Please make sure check out her YouTube channel. Check out her show, especially if you have kids. And if you're just a kid at heart, check it out too. And if you know people with kids, let them know. Spread the word. She'd really appreciate it. I'd appreciate it too. Speaking of which, make sure to leave a rating review for this show. The more reviews we have, the better. The more it helps us. We have all 5-star reviews at the moment. Keep them coming. We need more. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave your rating reviews there, and they will do their job to help this show out. And you can also do that by sharing out your favorite episodes or the episode that you're listening to now on the social networks. Like I said, you can find us on our social networks at WD Magiccast, pretty much everywhere. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Truly help the show out. You can do this over at Spotify Podcast. I will put the show links in the show notes as well, and also help the show out by checking out our merchandise shop I mentioned at the top of the show. Because remember, the show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever troubles may be bothering you, whatever shadows may be down on you and holding you down, don't give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on yourself. You are worth it. You are special. You may not realize it, but right now you are touching someone else's life. You probably don't realize that how important you are to someone that you may have only met once, or you may have not met at all, but you are making a difference in this world. Never give up on yourself. Never give up. Never give in. Be your own hero. Let your light shine for the world to see. Now I'd like to end this show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. We try in everything we do here, for the family. We don't actually make films for children, but we make films that children can enjoy along with their parents. Again, that's from Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.